Hello again, welcome back. This time we are going to learn a bit more about the interface, and as you see there's already something open up here. I wonder what it is. I'll tell you in a second. So in this lecture we're going to be focusing on how to work with samples and loops, and also the piano roll are probably going to be the main focuses, along with a few other things as I go along. But as you can see, this is a project that I made very recently. I just kind of threw it together. Threw it together today, about 2 hours. But it really illustrates my point about samples and everything. It's just, looking at this is a good way to learn, I do believe. So this is the playlist here, and I bet you're wondering what a playlist of a pretty complicated song looks like. Well, let's see. Alright, so this is the playlist in question. I might shorten this a little bit. You can actually do that. So we start out with the intro. We'll go through the sections, and also I'll get into how to complete songs as well. But anyway, here's the intro. This is the first bit. And you got the drop. You got like a recovery from the drop. You got another drop, like another recovery. And then after this, you have to kind of return to this. Just do something that's a bit different of a sound and different drum beats. And then after doing that for a few sections, you just return to the drop, like this thing again. And then that ends your song. So song structure doesn't have to be as like nerve-wracking and stressful, and I don't know. Back before I made music, I had no idea how one would finish a song, you know. I could only get the beginning, and then I have no idea what to do. But the key really is just to keep doing it, you know. You'll figure it out. It always seems really uncertain, but you always figure it out. You always figure it out. But to start this lecture, we are going to play this. We will see what I have worked on. Alright, here it is. So that was a project that I did today, and what I really wanted to show is that samples are extremely versatile. So as you can see, a lot of what you heard were these things, right? And I decided to make little structures because it looked cool, you know, the purple and the blue and whatever. But yeah, you see there's these little things, right? You must think it's just one normal sample, right? No. This is what I did. This is the true sample. You see all this stuff? So let's get into, oh man, could have just changed the size or whatever. Let's just get into samples and loops and why they're more useful than simply dropping them in and letting them do their magic, you know. So this is the original sample here. You see that? So it's just kind of like a messy thing you might hear in trap occasionally. What I did is I got away all of that and only kept this part. And what I did with that is I turned this into another one. Actually, I'll show you how to do that right now. This is a very useful skill. So I'll zoom in a bit so you can see it more clearly. So once you have flattened out your sample and you have this one spot you like, click it, and then if you click again, it pastes it, right? But you can click this little thing in the top left corner. Do you see that? Little like wave form in the top left corner here. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. And you get a little menu. So what you want to do is make unique. And it means this specific thing on the playlist, this right here, becomes a unique sample. So hit make unique, and then boom, it gets like a little number 2. But at this point, you can double click it and get into its properties menu. Again, this will look really scary when you're a first beginner, but don't be afraid of anything. It will all become known. It's all very friendly stuff. Just, yeah. Don't know what else to say about it. It's awesome. You just gotta kind of work at it, and you'll figure it out, no problem. But you can do things like this. You can reverse, you know, and it doesn't affect anything else. So, like, what does this sound like? Let's see. That's pretty cool. It sounds like neat as a reverse sample, actually. As you can see, it like flipped everything around as well. Like, that is now leading edge. So, let's hear. Isn't that interesting? It actually sounds a lot better backwards than forwards. Like, I can illustrate that as well. So, here we go. Listen to this. In my opinion, anyway, the backwards one just sounds kind of neat. But anyway, this is now an entirely new sample, and you might be seeing this in the background. You know the step sequencer. What is this? Why is there so many things? How do I work with it? Now, these things are actually dropped here automatically, including this one. It should be in here somewhere because it's a new unique sample. Anything that goes on this playlist, well, these are all duplicates, so only one of each of these will go in here. But anything that's a sound clip that's put onto the playlist becomes a channel here. You see this? These are just the audio clips. See? This little drop down menu is very useful. This is where you see all automation, unsorted. Unsorted just tends to be like the drums and synthesizer and whatever. But audio are all the audio clips that you see. I didn't have to add them to this. They just automatically appear there. Automation is another thing I will get into very, very shortly. It's basically drawing curves to change knobs. I can't explain it much better than that without showing you right now, so I will just hold tight for that one. But automation is really neat. But anyway, audio. See, we're already on audio. These are all the audio clips, right? So we can actually go to all, and then we get to see our everything else, right? But then I'd like to just go to unsorted, so we get rid of all that pointless stuff. Also, this is a plugin called Sheppy. It does not seem to work in FL Studio, sadly, but we do have other effects to increase the space of things, and I'll get into that as well. So these are all just drum noises and stuff, right? But actually, like this main pattern here, actually, this is a good introduction to the piano roll. We'll do this first. I'll click the full screen. It doesn't full screen in your entire browser. It just full screens in the window, right? So we got this. It's a piano, right? And hell yeah, you can play this piano. Watch. I click it, and it plays the sound. And if I click lower, it shifts the sound, you see? So often in trap music, they just use one sample like this. Usually a synthesizer would kind of maintain the same sort of spectrum, like the timbre of the note, even when it gets down lower. But since this is just a sound clip, if I hit a lower one, it slows down and just sounds kind of weird, you know. But a synth will keep them all at the same speed. But that sort of variation in speed and stuff is something you often hear in trap music and other things, really. Like, let's give a little example of this right here. You can't really tell, but the top notes are going a bit faster than the lower notes, and there's just a kind of variability of speed, sort of liquidity to it that I think people value for trap music. It's just, again, one of the hidden staples, I'd say. Like, definitely one of the staples would be the hi-hats, which I actually have on here. Pattern 1, you see this? It's like the sprinkler system hi-hats. Let's play this. See that? It's kind of like sprinkler system, as some people have pointed out to me. It's like trap is sprinkler system. I don't know what I'm getting at anymore. But anyway, let's play this one here. It's a slight variation. Like most of these patterns I have completely unnamed except for low bass. Because it's like I just went through without thinking and then realized, oh, I didn't name anything. So, tisk, tisk, tisk. Always stay organized. I can still, most songs I've made, I haven't been that organized and they've turned out well. Same with Avicii and a lot of famous producers just don't really label anything or stay organized. But I'd say start from the beginning. Definitely be organized right from the get-go. You will not regret it. So let's just play this one. Pretty sure this is the one that's playing here. Yeah, it is. It's a kind of a neat pattern, right? The reason I have the kick drums like this is because it's mirroring the melody, you know. So. And these last kick drums are kind of reminiscent of this pattern I got here. This is actually a really cool pattern. I really like it. It sounds like a mistake when you're just listening to it on its own. But I don't know if you remember, but if we're getting into it here, you see how it's like, it sounds kind of like shuffly. It's hard to explain really, but let's play it one more time. Just kind of like focus on like how this sounds when it's put into a song as opposed to when it's played on its own. It's quite interesting. See? It kind of fits. It's kind of shuffly, bouncy, nice sort of bass line thing. I think it sounds great. But you play it on its own, it sounds awful. You know, isn't that interesting? Something that really sounds like unrhythmic and wrong like this when you play it on its own. Like you listen to it, okay, that's fair. And then again, it's like, it's completely off when you're listening to it. But then when you throw it into a song, this one last time here. It's like this part is offset so well. It contrasts so well with the rest of the music that it sounds right, you know. So it's another one of those aspects of music production that people don't really mention. You know, it's just that sometimes a pattern you throw together won't sound good on its own, but it will sound awesome with everything else.